Welcome to my channel, Simply Trisha, and today's episode is about cruising. So this is for the people, this is for first-time cruisers. So some of the things you would be need on your first-time cruise would be would be just a passport or birth certificate. And it also depends on what cruise liner. So this is for Carnival Cruise liners because all of my cruises have been on Carnival. I have been on 6 cruises. So the next cruise I will be going on would be my 7th. And I started cruising back in 2009. So I've been cruising for a while now. So the first thing you would need is a birth certificate or a passport. Now, Carnival does not require they don't require they don't require passports. Now, you can get a passport. Generally, when you have a passport, you get through the line faster. But a birth certificate is fine. You know, you already have birth certificates. You don't have to pay the extra money for a passport. And they require you to have birth certificates. And also for the adults, you have to have your birth certificate and your ID. For your children, if you're cruising with your kids, you just have to have their birth certificate. So, and you have to have your paperwork. You know, once you pay off your cruise, they have your paperwork. I can't think of the name right now of the paperwork. It's called. You're basically your ticket to get on the ship. Now you can print it out on your computer. You also can pull it up on your phone. Now what we do, we keep one in the car and then we have one on us just in case, you know, we misplace it. But even if you leave your paperwork that, you know, proving, you know, you pay for your cruise, you can look it up on your phone. So even if you lose your boarding passes, it just came to me. Oh my gosh. Even if you lose your boarding pass, you can look it up on the phone. They also can print it out at Carnival. It's going to take longer if you just don't lose your paperwork because it's already a lot of walking involved, and you don't want to have to be having someone print it out and waiting in line. So, and I would suggest keeping your paperwork, your birth certificates, your passports, keep it on your carry-on. Do not put it in your luggage because some people do that and then they check their luggage and they forget that they had their paperwork and their birth certificates and everything in their luggage. And that's just a disaster because when they take that luggage, they throw it in this big, they have these big bins and they throw it in there. And when I tell you, it'll take some time to find your luggage. Just don't do it. Just put the paperwork, keep it with you on your carry-on. I always have my paperwork with me on my carry-on. The next thing you want to do, if you have young children or, you know, they can't keep up, I would suggest bringing a small stroller. If you have a baby or a child that's under 5, they're not going to be able to keep up with you. It's a lot of walking when you're going on the ship. The ship is huge. It's a lot of walking and during the ship, and you know they're going to get tired. If they're 5 and under, they're going to get tired. So I would suggest taking a small, you know, the small, not the huge strollers, because that'd be a problem. The small little compact strollers. Take one if your child is 5 or younger, because they're going to get exhausted. I'm telling you, like I took a stroller with me. This last cruise I went on is the first time I didn't take a stroller, but all the other years I took a stroller because our kids were young and they just couldn't keep up, and they get exhausted because it's a lot of walking when you get off the ship, when you get off the ports. I mean, you do a lot of walking, so it's good to have a stroller. Another thing on your first time cruise, you don't have to bring a lot of luggage, and it depends on if you're going to get, oh, I'm sorry, I forgot to tell you, you can either check your luggage or you can do a carry-on. Now, when you check your luggage, they deliver it to your room. It might come 3 o'clock. It might come 7 o'clock at night. I would suggest if you have young children, check your luggage because get your luggage checked. And the reason why I say this, you don't want to have a 4-year-old on your hip and then trying to carry on luggage. That's just too much work with little kids. Now, if your kids are older, I would suggest carry your luggage on because you get through the line faster. You get to go. Everything is faster when you carry your luggage on yourself. But the trade for it is you carrying the luggage on yourself. But if you don't want to do anything, this is your vacation. You just want to relax. get your luggage checked, but have a carry-on with you, because your swimsuits, your medication, anything that's important, you need to have it on you. So, you know, get a little small backpack or something like that. You don't want to have that checked, because if you need something that's very important, you're going to have to wait till they deliver it to your room, and it could come anytime during that day. So, and they take their time. They don't get the bags to your room fast. Another thing would be, I would suggest not packing too much stuff, because your first time cruise, like, some people overpack, and that's fine, but you don't have to. You just need your basic things. What you need for your first cruise, it's a lot of walking and a lot of, you know, chilling around the ship. And when you get off the ports, make sure you have some good sandals. Really, especially if you're going somewhere warm, you don't want to be putting on socks and shoes. Some good sandals, a pair of tennis shoes if you're going to do an excursion. Excursion, you know, is when they do the activities off the ship, like if you go rock climbing or zip lining. Make sure you have tennis shoes for the excursion. So bring your pair of tennis shoes, bring your pair of beach flappers, and a swimming suit, summer dresses, stuff that's light. If you're going somewhere that is warm, I am telling you, you're not going to want to have on nothing heavy, no heavy blue jeans. You will be hot. Make sure you bring your sunblock. I don't use sunblock. I use hats, and I just cover myself. Like, I use hats, and I stay in the shade a lot. I'm not a sun person. I love the summer, but just for me, just sitting in the sun, that's just not my thing. I have my my natural tan, and I never, like, ever since I was a kid, I've never just like sitting in the sun. I get hot, and and summer is my favorite, but I'm just, yeah, I don't like sitting in the sun. But bring your sunblock, bring your hats, sun hats, bring your hats for your kids, because they will get hot. They will complain. Oh my God, they will complain. So another thing, bring water bottles. You can't bring water on Carnival ships anymore. Because people were sneaking in alcohol. They used to let you bring in, they used to, I had to adjust my ring, but they used to let you bring on water, because we used to take our own water, but they do not anymore. So you can bring in soda, though. I think it's 2 cases per adult. You can bring in soda, and you can bring 2 bottles of wine per adult, but you cannot bring on water bottles. I know you can bring wine, you can bring soda, but you cannot bring water. Really? But hey, that's just the way it is. But if you are a water drinker like I am, I don't drink soda and stuff. So if you are advocate water drinker, what I would suggest, you can bring in on a filter. We bring in, I can't think of the name of my filter, but we have a filter, and you can bring your filter on, and you can filter the water. So that's, you know, I guess that's the trade for it. You can bring it on your own filter. Another thing about your first time cruise, let's see, gratuities. Now for Carnival, gratuities are not required, but what my family do, we always tip what is the guy's name? We tip the people that clean our house. I said our house. Well, it's like your house for a week. We tip the people that clean our room, and the front and the back. And then if it was a worker that like really went out that way, we tip it also. But the tips are up to you. They suggest 15 to, I forgot what percentage, but it's completely up to you. But we do tip. I prefer to give them the cash myself, so that's just the way I do it. But you can do it like that. They will put the tips on. They will put the gratuities on there. You just go down to guest services to adjust the way you want the tips to go. So you can tip whoever you want to tip. You can tip the people that clean your room. I always tip them. And you can tip others. You can tell them exactly how you want your tips to go. And it's up to you exactly how much you want to tip and all of that. Okay, so it's all up to you. Another thing is, let's see, another thing for your kids, I would suggest, if you're driving to the cruise ship, I would suggest bringing like them some toys, or a few things to play with, you know, just to keep them busy. I would suggest bringing like cards, like we play Phase 10 or Uno, like bring some cards, because it's going to be some times where you're on your destination getting there, and it's going to be some things to do, but it's just going to be like not a lot going on at certain times. So I would suggest bringing like stuff to play with and all that, a book to read. I mean, it's your vacation, like, or you could just lay in the sun, or you could just get in the shade, get some drinks. They always serving alcohol. Their alcohol is high, okay? So if you're going to do the alcohol, I would suggest getting the alcohol package, but I don't know. I'm not an alcohol drinker, but yeah, it's high. Yeah, it's high. But they have a package for the alcohol, so however you want to do that. But you can bring on 2 bottles of wine per adult. So that's like 4 bottles of wine for 2 adults. So I know some adults can go through that in one day. Yeah, I don't know, but I would just get the alcohol package, or or make sure you put aside for alcohol. If you're going to be drinking alcohol on the ship, just set aside about $150 to $300, because the alcohol it's not cheap. But I would suggest, if you like drinking soda, bring your own soda on, because what they charge for soda is a complete ripoff in the States. Like, I'm adjusting because I'm from the United States. It's a ripoff. Like, so bring your own soda. You can bring your soda. So I would suggest bring your own soda, or if you're a Red Bull drinker, whatever you drink, bring it on. And you can't bring on water though. They won't let you. You can try, but they're not gonna let you bring it on. Another thing, let's see, you can't bring on, what else you can't bring on the ship? Like, you can't have an open container. Like, say if you're drinking juice or whatever, they'll make you pour it out. Like, you can't bring drinks like that's open. It can't be open, because I guess they thinking, you know, alcohol, or I don't know. But I know when my first cruise that I went on, I had prune juice in there, because I was like 4 months pregnant with my 3rd daughter, and they wouldn't let me bring it home. I had to pour it out. So I was kind of disgruntled. About that, because it was for, you know, to keep everything going, and I was pregnant. So, you know, when you're pregnant, there's a lot of stuff you can't have. But they had prunes on the ship and other green vegetables so I just really didn't know what was going to be available, but it worked out. It was fine. Another thing with your first time cruise, just be prepared. Just make sure you don't leave important stuff like medication, your cell phone charger, extra batteries, your camera, your clothes, underwear. Yes, people sometimes forget to pack enough underwear. I would suggest, especially if you have children, bring extra clothes. Sometimes my babies, especially when they were younger, they went through 2 weeks worth of clothes in a week. Like, I didn't even care how they did that, but they like went through almost all the clothes that I pack. I'm like mostly all the clothes that I pack. They almost went through 2 weeks worth of clothes in a week. So bring extra clothes for yourself, and definitely if you have little kids, bring extra clothes. And if they're in diapers, bring plenty of diapers. Say if they use a pack of diapers a week, just bring extra diapers, because you don't want to run out of diapers. Carnival sells diapers, but just believe, if they sell it, they're going to charge. I am tired of doing this. They're going to charge more for it. So they're going to charge more for it. So I would suggest I go out of frame to just my nose ring. I'm going to switch my nose ring out. That's another story. But just make sure you bring enough diapers, enough clothes for the babies, and make sure you don't forget anything that's important. Oh, make sure you have your extra cash. Like, so if you're going on a cruise soon, make sure you have enough extra cash, because it's going to be, Carnival has a lot of shops inside of the ship. They have the cherry on top. I'm telling you right now, if you take your kids to the cherry on top, they're going to want to buy candy. It's a candy shop, and it has so much candy, and it's so pretty, and it's like, oh, I want to get this and that, and it adds up quick. Cherry on top. My kids love cherry on top. So make sure you bring a lot of extra spending cash. I would suggest anywhere to $500 to $600. extra, from not including the gratuities, like, but beside, like on the side, just for shopping, because it adds a quick, like Carnival charges a good amount for their things. Most of the time with Carnival, I just get something from the cherry on top, and I don't go to their shops because I did all that already. Most of the time I get stuff off port. It's cheaper, and then when you get off port, typically the further you go out, the cheaper the stuff get, because basically when you get off the ship, most of the stuff that's off port it's the same stuff. Like if you keep walking, you start seeing the trend of the same looking stuff. Like they typically sell like the same stuff. It's like not a lot of difference. It's like little variations, but not much. So the further you go out, the cheaper it get. When you get off port, the first shops you see are most of the time they're the highest. When you walk out a little bit, it gets cheaper. Also, with your excursions, is like your little activities you'll be doing off the ship. Carnival, you can book an excursion with a Carnival. Now with Carnival excursion, if it run late, they won't leave you. But if you do your own excursion, you can get left. But most of the time that doesn't occur. But you can book your own excursion yourself. But I would just say be careful and make sure that, you know, especially if you don't speak the language, just be careful, okay? But you can't book your own excursion. Just make sure you're back on time. And they really do good, like, with that. But most people just do it through Carnival just to be safe. But Carnival, their excursions, they're not that cheap. They're just not. So I'm gonna have to stop doing it on my video. So that's about all I have. I have more tips for your first time cruise, but right now I'm just doing it off the top of my head. I enjoyed all the cruises I went on Carnival, except for one. One, it just was an old ship, and I would suggest, like, especially with your first, I would suggest going like on a newer ship. Like the newer ships are the best, and that goes across every cruise liner. I've noticed that because we know other people that cruise, and some people swear by Royal Caribbean, some people swear by Carnival, some people swear by Norwegian. I think it's just one's opinion of what's the best. Everybody has a different opinion, so yeah. Carnival is really, really good with families. I like the party. They really do the party. I love the deck parties. Like the deck parties, and then Camp Carnival. They have Camp Carnival for kids. Yes, they have Camp Carnival for kids. And they also do babysitting, but that's extra. You have to pay for the babysitting. But they have a lot of things for the kids. They also have this green eggs and ham. I always forget the day, but you have to pay for that. But it's like, I think like $5 per person. If they haven't changed it, it's not high, but they do a green eggs and ham breakfast, and it's really cool. We supposed to be going to it years ago, but every time we miss it somehow. We off the ship when they have it, or we forget. But they have this awesome green eggs and ham breakfast. I think it's on a I don't know. I always don't remember what day it's on, but it's on one of those days. So yeah. Another thing, I think this will be the last thing, is have fun, relax, and get there early, because get to the port early. And especially if it's your first cruise, because you want to make sure you're at the right port. Or if anything comes up, just make sure you get there at least 2 to 3 hours early. Every cruise we've ever been on, we always get there extremely early. And it's better because you get on the ship faster. You get to wind down faster, and you don't want to be on your first cruise and you're running to try to make it. And no, you don't want that. You do not want that. You want to get on there and enjoy your cruise. And I would just say, make sure you take your sunglasses out also. And I just want to say, have a good time on your first cruise. I know I forgot some things because I'm just doing it. I didn't write it down, but I'm definitely probably going to make another video, especially how to pack for a cruise, because it's not difficult, but it's some essential things that you want to take on the ship. And there's some essential things you want to take. But thank you for stopping by, and have fun on your cruise, Carnival Cruise.